Hello everyone. In this tutorial, you will learn how to work with matrices, which are basically tables made of rows and columns. Matrices are super useful in games, puzzles, and even in data science. Whether you are building a game or solving a math problem, understanding matrices will help make your Python skills stronger. So let's get started. So the very first thing usually we do is to add matrices. So let us start with subtraction this time. So subtracting matrices and addition will be similar to it. So we will make two matrices. One can be matrix 1, its elements can be 1 comma 2 and then 3 comma 4, and matrix 2 which will be equal to 4 comma 5 and 6 comma 7. Okay, so first we need to print these matrices or the element of these matrices. So printing elements of matrix 1. So to print the elements of the matrix 1, what we need to do is we need to take each of the rows from the matrix and each of the element from the rows. So for that, what we'll be writing is for row in matrix 1 and then another for loop for element in row. For element in row. So what we will print is element, and then we will put and in space so that there can be space between each element. And then for printing the next row, wait, first let us run this and then see result. uh, this is Python lectures31.py, and you can see 1 2 3 4 is printed, but it is printed at the same line, whereas 1 2 should be printed above and 3 4 should be printed below. So for that we will write here print like this so that it can come to next line after one for loop is completed. So if we run, and you can see 1 2 3 4 is printed like this. So we have printed one matrix. Now let us print matrix 2 as well. So we can just copy paste this one here, and instead of 1 we can write 2, and rest everything is the same. So you can see 1 2 3 4, and here another matrix is formed, and we can just copy paste it here twice, and if we run this again, you can see a 2-line space is formed here between the matrices. Okay, so the next thing is to subtract the two matrices. So for that we should have one matrix which has all its element as 0. Later we will see one shortcut also of forming this 0 matrix. So first let us see this method. So this method is to simply say that result is 0 comma 0 and 0 comma 0. We have written like this because these both matrix 1 and matrix 2 are 2 cross 2 matrix, and so a result matrix is also a 2 cross 2 matrix. So what we will say is for I in range length of matrix 1, and then we will use for j in range length of matrix 1 and 0, then we will say result I j is equal to matrix 1 I j minus matrix 2 and then again this I j. So what have I written is, for example, this matrix 1. So matrix 1 is this, and if I just copy here and comment this so that I can just explain this. So you can see matrix 1 is this, and it says matrix 1 and in square bracket 0. This means the very first row. Okay, so the length of this is 2. Okay, and then the length of matrix 1, so it is also 2. Then it means that for j in range this, so it means that j will be 0 and 1, because this means that the j's value will go from 0 to 2, where 0 is included and 2 is excluded. So j will be 0 and 1. So when j is 0, result will be 0 0. I is 0 at first, because here length of matrix 1 and length of matrix 1 in bracket 0 both are same, because it is a 2 cross 2 matrix. So I and j at first both will be 0. So it will be result 0 0, that is the element address. So this one is equal to matrix 1 0 0 minus matrix 2 0 0, and like this if we go, then j will be 1, so it will be 0 comma 1, and then j will be 0 when I will be 1, so it will be 1 comma 0, and then it will be 1 comma 1. So like this it will be subtracted. You will be able to understand this better when you will be writing the matrices and the address of the each element. Then you will be able to get that why is it 0 1 1 0 and so on, like this. So now we need to print the result matrix. So printing the result, and to print the result what we will do is similar to this. We will have to print the matrix only. So result is a matrix, so here we will write in for row in result, and for element in row print this and gap between each row. Okay, so let us run this and you can see, let us give a gap here, also print this, and we can remove one from here. I think one gap is enough. So if we run this again, and you can see this is one matrix, this is other, and this is the resultant matrix. 1 1 minus 4 is minus 3, 3 minus 6 is minus 3, and so on, like this. Okay, so we have successfully subtracted this matrix. We can even print that the subtraction of these two matrices. We write a print subtraction of these two matrices, and then this matrix will be printed. Okay, so let us comment this and let us go further with other matrix this time. So let it be A 1 comma 2 and then 4 comma 5, then B is 7 comma 8, and then we can say 9 comma 10. So I'm just showing another example, and you can even take the same matrices here as we have taken it above. Okay, so now rows is, so the number of rows is length of A, which is 2 here. This is one row and this is other row, so it means length of A. That is this square bracket, the white one. It has how many other square brackets? So this is 1 and this one is 2. Okay, and now the columns. So columns will be length of sorry A, and then in square bracket 0. This means that this one is the first row and it has how many elements? This is 1, this is 2. So this means that column is also 2. Okay, so we have seen the number of rows and the number of columns without counting. So we can take any number of matrix, I mean any order, and then it will itself calculate the number of rows and columns. You do not have to give it whether it is 2 or something else. Okay, so the element wise subtraction. So let us say D. So D is equal to, now we'll write here 0 for I in range columns. So columns will be written as cols, and then we will use another for loop for j in range rows. So this means that 0 for I in range column. So first in columns this I and for loop will go, and then for j in range rows, so then it will go in rows. As we had written this one for loop again and again, it is similar but it is just in short, this for loop. So this is another way to write that. Then we will write for I in range rows, and then for j in range column, then we will say d I j is equal to 1. We can copy this I and j because we need to write it repeatedly. A minus b. So d will be a minus b because we need to subtract a and b to get d. So let us print d, print d. Okay, so you can see d is printed minus 6, minus 6, minus 5, minus 5. So you can see our matrix shows this, and 1 minus 7 is minus 6. And if we say 4 minus 9, then it is minus 5. So it is correct. Okay, now if we want to divide, we can just write here a slash instead of minus, so it will divide. And similar for plus and multiply. If we write here plus, then it will add. If we write the multiplication sign here, then it will multiply. Okay, so next thing is to import numpy for making matrix of different types. So importing numpy here, we can write as comment. We can import numpy as np, and we are going to make a matrix of elements as 1. So for that, let the name will be 1mat, and then we will use numpy, which is np dot ones, and then let us say 3 comma 4. So if we print this 1mat, so you can see a matrix of 3 comma 4 order is printed having all its element as 1. If we copy this and want to write a 0 matrix, so instead of 1 we can simply say it's 0. Here also we will print that 0 matrix, and here what we need to do is instead of 1 again we just write 0. Now save it and run, and you can see a 0 matrix formed with 3 comma 4 as order. Now if we want to make a empty matrix, then again we'll copy this, and instead of 1 we can write emp. Also we can write emp, and here we can write empty. If we run this, and you can see this is an empty matrix. If we want to make an identity matrix, but wait, what is an identity matrix? So a matrix whose diagonal elements are 1 is known as identity matrix. Okay, so for that we can write IDT mat, which is just the name identity matrix, and then we will write np.I, then 3 comma k is equal to 0. Then we will print this IDT matrix. Let us run this, and you can see identity matrix is formed whose diagonal elements are 1, and it is of the order 3 cross 3 because we have written 3 here. Okay, so we can just comment this, and we can go further with our program. So for 2 cross 2 matrices, if we need to use a multiplication, then what can we do is first we will need the matrices. So multiplication of 2 cross 2 matrix, we can copy the matrix from above so that we do not have to write it again and again, and already it's there. So can just take it from here and this you can comment. Okay, so now we will make one result matrix. So result matrix, as you know, will be 2 cross 2, and this will be our result matrix, wherein we will add the final result. Okay, so we will use the for loop to multiply. So we will write for I in range 2, and then for j in range 2. Why 2? Because rows and column number, if we see, are 2. This is a 2 cross 2 matrix, so that means the number of rows is 2 and number of columns is also 2. That's why we are writing it 2. Like in the above case where we learned this, we had written here range calls and range rows. So here we are just multiplying a 2 cross 2 matrix. So we are writing 2 instead of rows and column. And here we will write result is equal to. Now what? So if you will write all the elements of the matrices and see the multiplication, you will get a pattern. For example, if you just print the matrix A to understand this. Okay, first we need to comment this one, then we will comment the unuse. So you can see this is matrix A. So this one is first row and first column, so 1 comma 1. Okay, and this one is first row second column, so 1 comma 2. This is 2 comma 1 and this one is 2 cross 2 comma 2. So here what we need to do is we need to multiply both the matrix. So we need B to be printed as well. So we'll just copy this and paste and run. So B is also printed. Alright. So for multiplying the matrix, what we need to do is we'll take the first row of the first matrix and first column of the second matrix. So when we're taking the first row, the first element of the first row will be multiplied to the first element of the first column of the second matrix. So 1 into 7 plus 2 into 8. So that means 7 plus 16. So like this it will be. And if you write this, then it will be 1 comma 1, and this will be 1 comma 1 of the first matrix. Then it will be multiplied to this, which is, I suppose, 1 comma 1 of the second matrix. Then it will be added, sorry, it will be 1 into 7 plus 2 into 9, because you are taking the first column, right? So it will be 1 into 7 plus 2 into 9. So 1 comma 1 of this multiplied with 1 comma 1 of this, and this is 1 comma 2 of the first matrix, which is multiplied to 2 comma 1 of the second matrix. So if you observe this pattern, what it will be, let's uncomment this. uh, Let us indent this again, and here we will see A I 0 into B 0 J plus write A I 1. This will be multiplied to what? B1J. So this is the pattern that we got. So result matrix will be equal to the sum of multiplication of these elements, and at last what we will do is we'll just print this matrix. So I mean the rows for row in result print row. There is some error here. Okay, so you can see here it is written name A is not defined. Did you mean capital A? So it has shown the error itself. So we can just change this. It will be better to change this. We could have even changed this and made it into capital A or capital B. It's all up to us. And then you can see this is A, this is B, and this is the resultant matrix. So you can see 7 plus 18. So 18 plus 7 is 25. So you can see the multiplication is done. So this is a general way of multiplying all the elements and then adding it. Okay, so let us comment this and we'll go ahead with. So the next thing is transpose of a matrix. Transpose of a matrix. So this is your homework and you need to try this yourself. In the next video we will discuss this and some more methods or the shortcut ways using NumPy library to add, subtract and do much more with the matrices. Thanks for watching this video. Do like the video and subscribe for more coding content. Happy coding!